Okay, guys, so we start our weekly GraphQL sync-up, and today we have very interesting agenda. So first of all, sorry, I have some problem with the internet connection. If you don't hear me, please write me in Slack channel. So pretty quick short update from my site about merged pull request. I'll share my screen. So during this week, we merged 7 pull requests. In scope of this pull request, we provide some add simple product to cart. We consider that it will be example how to work with another products, how to add other products to shopping carts. We fixed a lot of unstable current API functional tests in scope of improved GraphQL product pagination. We fixed some issue with B2B feature in scope of action store configs. So some of the pull requests contain special achievement label or complex label. Also, during this week, we worked on another pull request. You can see that we have 7 pull requests, they still in progress. So I really think it was very good and very fruitful week. And thank you guys for your contribution. And next our update about 1 minute. Next, our update about SQUASHTOBERFEST. What is this? What does it mean? Lori will share this very interesting information.
Hello, everyone. I'll go ahead and share as well. So SQUASHTOBERFEST is kicking off. It already started with Monday. What this means is for the entire month of October, if you submit 5 pull requests at a minimum or validate 10 issues, you will gain this awesome t-shirt. One of a kind, limited only for those that do submit pull requests during this time. You can submit these pull requests or validate these tickets within the GraphQL, as well as the Magento repo backlog, but you know, this is GraphQL, so focus on those. Valeri and others can also point you to perhaps tickets if you're looking for additional points like special achievements and things of that nature. What will happen is during this time, you submit your pull requests. They may lag on being merged, but it will still count towards your totals. And at the end of that, when those are all merged in, everyone will be receiving their t-shirts. You'll be contacted either through Slack or email to get your sizing and also your shipment information. So all you have to do is take an issue, submit a PR or validate it, and you will be part of this SQUASHTOBERFEST. If you have any questions, I'll also be adding this link in the Slack for GraphQL. There is a SQUASHTOBERFEST channel, but you can also ask in the GraphQL area. But if you have questions on the whole event in general, you can see here there's a channel that you can find straight in Slack, and we're all there to answer any questions. Included in this too are tests with QA tracks and dev docs. So that's it. If anyone has any questions, happy to answer them.
Thank you, Lori. Looks like it will be very interesting and home smart.
Happy to help out.
Lori, share please the link in GraphQL Slack channel. So our next presenter is Alex Paliarush. He will share some information about performance improvements. Alex, please.
Hi guys. So I will just show you how performance looked before some improvements which we are doing right now for products query, and then I will switch branch and we'll see how it looks after that. And why we started this work? Because we noticed some performance issues with GraphQL endpoints on medium performance profile that we have. And this profile is containing a bunch of categories. You can see like how it looks on storefront, and also a lot of attribute sets, a lot of attributes, and thousands, I believe tens of thousands of products. It's not millions, but still. And for now, we are looking at parity with REST, or at least get same performance or better performance that we have in REST. And you can see, like before any changes, how it looks on mainline right now. So this is REST products endpoint, and you can, by the way, so you should look like over here. This is approximately how much it takes to load data in REST. So it's like 2.7, 2.8, 2.7 seconds. So around 2.7 seconds. Then what we did, we created query in GraphQL. Obviously, you understand that GraphQL is flexible and you can query less data, more data compared to REST. But what we did, we just queried the same data that we do in REST, we queried in GraphQL, and we measure performance in GraphQL. Sometimes also we have cron running, that's why it might take longer, but you can see it takes about 5.7, like on previous runs, basically around 6 seconds, 5.8. And by the way, the data which we are fetching is like product information, product price, websites, categories, product links, like upsells, cross-sells, etc. Options, which are empty here, information about images, media gallery. So all those data. Now I will switch the branch. So you remember, right? So it's like about 6 seconds here, and it's about 2.7 seconds here in REST. So now I'm switching the branch. This work is still in progress, so expect to have more improvements, but at least what we've got so far, I will be able to show you now. And I will have to clear cache, and it will take a little bit to warm up cache again. But after that, we should get some results. So still flashing cache. Okay, so as I said, like the first queries should not count because they're warming up config cache and other basic Magento caches. That's why we need to look at subsequent queries. And this is developer mode. This is not production mode. So obviously I'm not running in compilation or code generation. So it's all generated on the fly. Okay, so what we can see now, in REST we have 1.7. It was like 2.7, I believe, seconds, right? So now we have 1.7 seconds in REST, 1.6. So you may ask why we have improvement in REST, because one of the optimizations which we have done was in framework, like in catalog module itself. It was not in GraphQL, and that's why it looks like it affected other queries performance as well. And this is nice. And now let's take a look at GraphQL. Again, we probably skip the first query because it still warms up some GraphQL infrastructure. But now you can see how much time it takes in GraphQL. So it's like 1.2 seconds, 1.1. So you see the difference, right? Like this was before the fix and this is after the fix. And in REST it was, I believe, 2.7 seconds. Now it's like 1.7 seconds. So all this still need to be validated on our builds and make sure that we didn't break anything, but looks like we are doing pretty good with these improvements, and we have several more improvements which we can do. So I suppose in the end, we will have pretty good results with performance improvements. Yeah. So any questions?
Yeah, I have one. Will it affect only on query for products, or you already check for mutations?
So for now, we are working on queries only. And obviously, if you want to optimize something, you have to work on specific queries. There could be some framework level improvements as well. Like we have seen something like improved for Rust as well. But I don't think we have any plans to improve mutations for now, right? So we are focusing on queries.
Yeah.
We also measure performance of categories on this medium profile, and categories look pretty good. But we had these issues with products, and that's why we're focusing on them. So any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Alex. So our next presenter is Arturo, and he will share information about Revoke customer token. And if I'm not mistaken, it's first presentation from Arturo.
Okay. Hi guys. Well, I had an issue with my local, so I cannot show anything. Sorry for that. But I don't know. I can show the code or whatever you want. I have a problem with the database. Sorry.
Okay, don't worry. You already merged it and verified, so.
Yeah. It should be working.
Okay, I can show this functionality next demo.
Okay, thanks.
Looks like you picked part one more ticket. Is Is it related to some shopping cart to add in some product to shopping cart?
It's related with the add bundle product to the shipping cart. Number 143. Sorry.
As I mentioned, we already merged adding simple product to shopping cart. It should be a good, clear example for you. But if you will have some question, please ping me or Roman Glushko, who work on this tickets initially.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
Great, thank you. Okay, next our presenter is Pablo Fantini, and looks like it's also his first presentation. Pablo, are you here?
Yeah. Good morning. Thanks for the invitation. I share my screen. I show the address book. I don't know why it is to remove this bar. Yeah. Okay, I already have this login user. And I show how to create a new address for this login user. I add for this purpose two custom attributes, document and document type, document number, and this, if I run this query, take the time. This input values and the return value is the same as input, and also have an ID for this address and the customer ID, and this is for add. I have yes, for update. For update, I change some attributes. From the ID is different. I get an ID. Nothing. An issue is for the other customer. I change I update the same address I create for with another attribute. I add this address as default billing and shipping. And if I try to delete this address, I will have an error. So this address is set as default. And for this, I need to change the default address, the default as shipping and billing, but Magento not have a way to set as default. I need to create another address to set as default, because Magento not allowed to remove this address as default. And for that, I create a new one and set true, and create a new one. Let me check. For this, I have two addresses. And this address is now as default. And I try to remove this address. And delete it. And if I check the new address, I only have one address for default shipping and billing. I think this is all. If some questions.
Actually, I have one comment.
Yeah.
When address is not default billing or default shipping, I believe it should return false for those fields. But currently, it returned null. So I suppose it should be adjusted a little bit.
Yeah, if I try to update the address. This is 51. I try to address to false. No, have an error, but the returns is the default is true. This is because Magento not allowed to remove the default shipping and default billing.
Yeah, so basically the scenario which I'm talking about is when you had two addresses previously before you removed one. And one of them was default and second was not default. And the one which was not default was given null for these fields. And I believe this should be done as false.
If I create as a false, this is a new address, and that is false. But if I check for this query, the data is not is default. Yeah, this is true.
Yeah, so is it possible to make it false here as well?
I think no. I take a look and I change this result.
Thank you.
Don't worry. Another question?
Looks like no.
Nope. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Pablo, for the great presentation. So our next presenter will be Yaroslav, and he will share some updates from our grooming.
Yeah, hey guys. So during our previous demo, we have discussed the best ways to implement addresses management for quote. The discussion was about how exactly we're going to achieve the setting shipping addresses, billing addresses, and setting the shipping method for a shopping cart using different checkout ways. So when we use single address shipping or multi-shipping, the discussion was about having just one like entry point, one mutation for every ways. So the one point for using single address shipping and the same point for using multi-shipping, or we need to have different points, different queries for different checkouts. But we decided to go with just one point, one like entry point. So we will have set shipping addresses, not shipping address, but shipping addresses on cart, and set billing addresses on cards, but address should be fixed. So on the resolver level, we will decide what flow to use. Depends on how many addresses we have passed to our quote. So if we have just one address, we will use the single address shipping flow. And if we have multiple addresses, we will use multi-shipping. But at the very beginning, we will create logic for processing single address shipments, and then we will, during this process, we'll create like extension points for our further development. And after we have logic for processing single address shipments, we will be able to cover the multi-shipping functionality by adding the extensions. And currently, we are working on setting addresses and shipping methods to the shopping cart. And I was trying to go an easy way for setting shipping address. So we have like very good interface within the scope of Magento in the core that allows us to set shipping address for a shopping cart by passing a shopping cart ID, carrier code, and shipping method code. And it's really great because it throws like very good set of errors, exceptions that we could catch and throw the corresponding message. But it doesn't work, unfortunately, because all shipping information, including billing address, shipping address, and shipping method, is stored in a quote extension attribute that called shipping assignment. And this extension attribute is assigned every time we use native REST API. And this REST API also is used during the storefront checkout. So if we set the shipping address or shipping method using REST API, we cannot use this method because all data we have set here will be overridden using the extension attribute. So now we're trying to figure out how to set the shipping method for shopping cart without like additional overhead. And I believe it's our next step.
Yaroslav, as I said, I will join you to this task, and I think we will find tomorrow something, a solution for this problem.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay. Next, our presenter is Boiko, and he will share some functionality based on result of this grooming.
Hi guys. After Yaro's speech, I even have nothing to add, just show how it works for now. So in order to assign the shipping address, we need to create an empty cart. So let's create it. So then I have such query, which will assign a new address to the shopping cart. And I should receive this couple of data from the address here on response.
So let's run the query. So as you can see, address was assigned as well for single shipping. And let's jump into implementation. So here we have our single point set shipping address on cart resolver, where we assigns our address, and here still a lot of questions. And first of all, I would like to ask how we will determine if the shipping is multi-shipping or single. Because for now, we can, as current schema, we can get the only one address inside the query, as we can see. Let's I show you. So yes, such shipping address on cart input, and here only single address. So we can determine is it multi or single. But in order to do this, I just check if cart items present in the request. Because for single shipment, cart items might be inside quote already. So probably if address will be with cart items, it's multi-shipping. But I'm not sure it's correct decision or not.
If I don't make a mistake, we consider that we can change our schema, and if we pass a few addresses, we can consider that is multi-shipping.
Okay, clear so far. So I will change this definition. So also, I have here kind of mock, which will be moved to another resolver, and I would like to call it cart resolver because this structure will be used in a lot of places, kind of when we set shipping address, billing address, whatever. So it would be great to move it somewhere else. Probably that's it from my side. And if you have any question, I will glad to answer.
Now, I was going to try to kind of revisit the question. So I think the endpoint of receiving or setting addresses on cart, like we all agreed, it should be able to receive multiple addresses. So I think that should just be changed to an array, and then I think that's how you would know if. So if there's multiples passed, then you'd know that it's a multi-shipping flow. And if there's only a single one passed, then you know that it's a normal shipping flow, and you don't have to assign all the items to each address. In case of the multi-shipping flow, you also have to validate that in the same call, the items are all assigned to one address or the other. Well, at least the shippable ones, right? The ones that have a physical shipping. So like virtual products don't need to be assigned, obviously, things like that. And then the other thing to point out is that the endpoint, we called it set shipping addresses instead of add shipping addresses to relay that we don't support, like if you set one address on the cart, you won't be able to just add another address on the cart and enter the multi-shipping flow, right? That's not going to be supported. You basically have to, in case of the multi-shipping flow, you have to pass all addresses at once and assign all the items to all shippable items to one of those addresses. And so we'll need to have some validation there to make sure that's the case. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And also approach with setting multiple addresses at the same time will simplify validation, because if you try to implement sequential assignment of addresses, then it's very difficult to make sure that quote is in consistent state, and that's why it is better to have just a single method to add all shipping methods, and then in this call you can validate that all items were assigned, as Ilya said, and also we can reuse the same method for updating addresses. So we don't need to implement delete, and we can just have this set shipping addresses on card, and it should be enough for basically adding information about shipping addresses or replacing it. Additionally, we should take care of resetting the state of code in case if somebody added new items or modified items in cart or removed items, because then shipping and like shipping information, shipping address information, and billing address information becomes outdated. We need to invalidate it somehow as well.
Okay, thank you, Vitaly.
Thank you for having me.
Sorry, I have just one recommendation for you, Vitaly. I would recommend you to try so you have created the empty shopping cart using GraphQL, but I also recommend creating a shopping cart using the native storefront, and then setting some shipping address for this shopping cart. And after that, try to change the shipping address using your resolver by GraphQL. Because you can face with the same problem as I faced. So if we have set all data using storefront, using REST API, this data is stored in extension attributes, and some of this data might be overridden from the extension attributes. So that was the main problem, and we can just miss it if we don't test it properly. So just try it.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you.
So, Yaroslav, one question. Can you explain how do you get valid shopping cart ID if you create it from storefront? Where do you look for it?
Actually, I have created an entry for masked shopping cart ID manually in this case. Okay. So I have get the masked shopping cart ID from the database and used it in GraphQL query.
So it was present in database anyway, even if it is, let's say, customer shopping cart, mask ID is still there, right?
No, only for guest shopping cart. So if we create a shopping cart for logged in customer using storefront, the masked ID will not be created in this case.
Okay, so I'm just asking because right now in GraphQL, even for logged in customers, we are using hash, we are using this masked ID. And I was just wondering, like, how do you switch between these flows? Because like previously there was just regular ID used for logged in customers.
Yeah, basically you can create a shopping cart for a logged in customer using GraphQL, then go to storefront, add some products to this shopping cart, set shipping address, billing address, shipping method, and then try to perform other operations using GraphQL. So in this case, we can have some issues, as I said, because I believe that we have some interfaces that are legacy interfaces because they were used previously and their logic is not compatible with the extension attributes we have now. So yeah, I'm trying to resolve this issue somehow, because if you try to set address directly, for example, for quote address, if you try to change some values from quote address and save this quote address during the quote segment, if you have extension attributes for this quote, so the values for quote address might be overridden from the extension attributes.
Okay, thanks. I suppose it should help like anybody who is working on checkout.
Yeah, I will figure out how to handle this problem together with Valery, and I will share my thoughts on the next demo.
So guys, looks like it was our last point. Maybe some question.
Yeah, actually, I have one more point regarding this performance improvement that I was working on. I just want to remind everybody that in GraphQL, if you have some field which is difficult to load, which is like heavy field, we need to create custom resolver for it, because one of the main issues that we had in GraphQL was that if you query products, even if you do not want to get layered filters, layered navigation filters, information about them was loaded. And in case when we have the thousands of attributes, it became pretty heavy operation. And that's why, like on small profile, like when you have not so many products and attribute sets, it was not visible. But when we add more attribute sets and more attributes, it becomes visible. That even if you don't request some field, if it's loaded, it gives you basically performance degradation. Just want to remind that the ideology of GraphQL is to have resolvers for as many fields as it makes sense, basically to make it granular and to get better performance if you don't need like all the fields, and to load the data only if you need those fields. Yeah, so I suppose this is from my side. Thanks.
I was able to fix my database, so if you want to show the Revoke customer feature, I can show you.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got time, so let's do that.
Okay. Share screen. Well, it's basically something pretty easy. You have here. I will use the mutation that Pablo did to generate the customer token. It generates one, and what I did is basically the mutation to revoke that customer token. I'm not logging in, so it will throw an exception saying that the customer does not have access. And let me log in the front end. Go. Here is right now I'm logging in, so sorry. Now that I am logging in, if I execute this one, I remove the customer token for the user. So that's it. Pretty easy.
What if you do it second time?
What?
What if you press it once again? What if you run the same query once again?
It says that the customer has no tokens. So that's pretty much it. Yep.
Generally, I think we need to wrap this exception in some GraphQL message, because in production mode you will get internal server error. So I think it will be more useful if we wrap in GraphQL exception and will be message this customer has no tokens.
Okay, great. I will try to do it.
Yeah, and also, could you please make sure that it also works if you use token authentication? Because now you use cookie-based authentication. It's probably fine because framework was able to identify the same user just by cookie. But make sure that you can use this bearer token authentication and perform the same operation. Because normal workflow in GraphQL would be that you get this token and then you specify it in authorization header. It will be like authorization, then value will be bearer, space, and token value.
By the way, this case is covered in API functional test.
Yep.
Okay.
That's covered in the test. I will mention that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, looks good. Thanks, Arturo. That's good work.
Thank you.
Yep.
So, some other updates, questions?
Let's see who all is going to MLEU next week. Is anybody going?
I know that a few guys from Magento will be here, but we will work and locally.
Yeah, I'm going to be there.
Cool. Yeah, Slav, Alex, Luzun. Cool. I will be there from our internal team. I'll be there, and then Chris Partika, who worked with us on the initial internal implementation. I know some of you guys know him. He jumps on the call sometimes, so he's going to be there as well. So we can sync up, and we're hoping, both of us are hoping there to be there during the contribution day on Monday. So if you guys want to come out and teach some folks about GraphQL and help out, it would be great.
Yeah, sure. Nice.
Cool. Sounds great. Well, it's good. Yeah, it's good to see so much activity on our weekly call. I know we've got some of the newer contributing members like Arturo and Pablo. It's great to see you guys hop on and help out the project. The stuff that you guys implemented doesn't look very trivial, so we really appreciate your work. And then those of you guys who have been contributing consistently, definitely appreciate you guys as well. That's awesome that we're able to advance this project and advance all these improvements and make GraphQL better. So definitely grateful for your contributions and appreciate the efforts.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Awesome. All right. If nothing more, then we will let's wrap up the call, and we'll see those of you in Barcelona next week, or if those that are not going to be there, probably next weekly call on Thursday.
Okay.
Take care, guys. Bye, everyone.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.